The news, okay, people? Have you heard about this? And I think we might need to go a little bit lower on the music. Have you guys heard about this yet today? This is something that is an issue. Not only has this hit some game companies, but it also has hit organizations over the past several years. And that is ransomware. Does anybody know what ransomware is? Let me know in the chat if you've ever heard of ransomware. Let me know. Anybody ever had to deal with it? I've had to deal with ransomware a couple times. I like that. So Truzetto said it's software that sticks up the bank. Right. Just about. So ransomware is essentially malware that gets downloaded on and executes on a machine, typically a Windows machine, that will start encrypting data as it goes. I've seen multiple iterations of ransomware. Nowhere near all of them. There's just so many out there, it's hard to say. And there's many types of ransomware attacks, but the one we're talking about here is when someone clicks on a link that launches malware or downloads a file that is malware that just starts encrypting data. And what happens when the data gets encrypted is there's a key. So really there's two keys used to encrypt data, a public key and a private key. Whatever key was used to encrypt this, so maybe the private key, the attackers have. So the attackers will, find a way on the network, which is usually via an email, just spamming organizations with email or laser targeting certain individuals and trying to trick them into clicking on links. And what those links do, again, is launch on the computer, download and install a file, and there you go. Data starts getting encrypted, and here's what you start to see. I'm gonna go on Twitter here, and we're gonna look at this this image, this statement that CD Projekt Red made, and this is a public statement. You got to respect organizations that get hit by ransomware for owning up to it, and just when they didn't need it, just when they needed more chaos, right? There's generally some chaos around the actual attack, or I'm sorry, the actual release of the video game Cyberpunk 2077, right? And now you got a ransomware attack on top of that to deal with. So not good PR right now for CDPR, but I've got to say shout out to them for being professional about this, because this could happen to anybody. Matter of fact, it happens to colleges. It happens to the best of us. Let me tell you, it happens to organizations. It's hard to avoid. It could happen to anybody if they're not consciously looking and consciously aware of what they're clicking, right? So here's what they said after they got hit. Yesterday, we discovered that we have become a victim of a targeted cyber attack, due to which some of our internal systems have been compromised. An unidentified actor gained unauthorized access to our internal network, collected certain data belonging to CD Projekt Capital Group, and left a ransom note, the content of which we released to the public. Although some devices in our network have been encrypted, our backups remain intact. We have already secured our IT infrastructure and begun restoring the data. We will not give in to the demands nor negotiate with the actor, being aware that this may eventually lead to the release of the compromised data. We are taking necessary steps to mitigate the consequences of such a release, in particular by approaching any parties that may be affected due to the breach. We are still investigating the incident. However, at this time, we cannot confirm to our best knowledge the compromised systems did not contain any personal data of our players or users of our services, right? So that's like personal information. Like if you have stored, I don't know, they shouldn't store credit card information. They really don't need to store much information about users and gamers, right? So it says we are already approached we have already approached the relevant authorities, including law enforcement and the president of the Personal Data Protection Office, as well as IT forensic specialists, and we will closely cooperate with them in order to fully investigate this incident. Like, what can you do? You have to just be proactive. So here's a picture, right? You can tell this is Notepad. So this was essentially what was found in each directory that was encrypted. The last ransomware I saw was several years ago, and I was helping out a company mitigate from it. And what we noticed was that in every single directory that the malware encrypted, it left the message, right? So this message says, "Hello, CD Projekt." So obviously it was targeted. It wasn't just general. It says, "You have been epically pwned," and then blah, 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 right? This is what we did, and this is how you get it, right? So they're holding it for ransom. Here's the idea of ransomware is, I've got your data held hostage. And guess what? Now you're going to pay us, or we're going to release the source code to the games. And if you look online and do a couple Google searches, I challenge y'all to do that. Do some research. Did the attackers release the source code? Supposedly. So this is not a good thing, but hey, what can you do? It happened. Now they just gotta mitigate and secure from there, right? So user awareness trainings, probably want to get more security individuals full-time employed. Now that you know that that's your target, as most game developers now are targets. There's a organization called FireEye. Have you all ever heard of FireEye? They do some cybersecurity research. We can look at that. I forgot what let's look at this. So FireEye they have some reports that they're released that are very in depth. But so did everybody else. Anyone that was using SolarWinds Orion, there's a product called Orion. They got breached. So here it is. So under the resources, you go to APT groups. APT is an advanced persistent threat. So, you can imagine a group of hackers or a team of hackers. There's one APT 41. It's in China. It shows the 3 different sectors that they target, and they target game companies. Somebody put in the chat, why would a company target, or why would a group of hackers, especially state actors, why would they target a game company? Right? Like, let me know. Why would they do that? And that's something that you want to consider is, what is the incentive for someone to hack a game company? Ooh, good stuff. Good share, Saucy Sec. You guys can trust Saucy Sec. He knows what he's doing and he cares about others. Or she. I don't know. He, she, they. So I hope I didn't hurt you with that. So APTs. And they usually develop this stuff. Yeah. So they have reports you can read about what they've been up to. At least what FireEye knows they're up to. They could be up to a lot of other nefarious acts and such, but this is what they were caught doing. So I would strongly recommend reading some of these reports. They're actually pretty fascinating. They give you an overview. It doesn't get, some of it gets deep, in technical, but most of it's an overview. The economics, I guess you could say, of a hack. So you can see these are the industries that they target. Let's collapse that. So look at all these industries that this hacking team, they target: healthcare, high tech, including semiconductors, advanced computer hardware, battery technology, electric vehicles. You know, they pretty much attack. They attack the whole United States. Okay. So it's, you know, this is a state actor. So many believe that this is the government of China's special hacking team, that, you know, they're NSA, that are just attacking United States private industry infrastructure. So it's kind of tough. This is why cybersecurity is important on a large scale. Okay, not just government, not just you know, your mom, and not just big organizations, but everybody. You know, everyone who uses a computer should have some cybersecurity awareness. What are you sharing? What are you putting out there on the internet? What are you putting on the network? As far as your financial information, there's a lot to be considered there. Look at this: virtual currencies, in-game currencies. So, you know, a hacking team like this can bring in money, right? So what they're doing is they're gonna be getting things that are gonna not just get them the video game so they can play it, but get them the video game so they can sell it or recreate a product similar that they could duplicate and just rename it or something, right? Call it something else, right? Like, instead of calling it Minecraft, call it Blockcraft, right? Or just Block Builder, you know, and then sell it to sell it to another demographic in the world, right? So this is an issue. This is more and more of an issue, and movies are getting stolen. We saw that, but ransomware is an interesting conversation, because why would you use it? Because, you know, this is funny. You can, you know, that some of the companies that, you know, get hit by ransomware, they pay the ransom, and they have no issue paying the ransom. They will pay the ransom using insurance money. Have you ever heard of cybersecurity insurance? Look it up. It's out there, where you file a claim, and the insurance company forks over some money to help you pay the ransom, or help you pay for mitigation, right? But I've heard of many cases, companies paying for the ransom, and they don't even, you know, they don't get the data back, but they use their insurance. So it's kind of an interesting concept, because if you think about it, it almost incentivizes the attacker to just keep doing what they're doing, because, you know, they're getting paid either way, right? And if the organization isn't really paying, they're only using their insurance, then, you know, the attacker's just not going to feel morally anything about it. They're gonna be like, whatever, you know, I'm gonna get paid anyways. It almost incentivizes it, right? Yeah, it's kind of an interesting idea.